And we're back.
We're back.
Why do I gotta come up with something new.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
I'm hungry.
That's right. It's lunchtime almost,
Yes.
Scott. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No, we're talking about students.
It's summertime.
Summertime.
It's the last week of school, Scott. We're
Talk
excited.
about camp.
I love camp.
I like camp.
Summer camp is coming. Student ministry is here today. Blake Lawson is talking about it, what to know, how to get involved, checking out all the cool stuff they're doing.
High school and middle school camp. Generate and the big stuff.
That's right. So thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening, whatever podcast client you're on, or on YouTube. You can see us.
Podcast client. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's nice.
That's right. Professional-ish. But make sure you give us a like, follow us, The Simple Church YouTube channel, or wherever you're listening, and check out this great interview with Blake.
It was a fun one.
I had a good time.
Good hand.
There it is.
Yes, welcome back.
We're glad to be here. Scott Odom and me, Evan Semanco, here on the Backstage with the Simple Church podcast. We've got Blake Lawson, our interim middle school pastor here, who just did the noise, Scott.
Stoked to be here.
He did a fantastic job.
He did do a fantastic job.
Yes, I'm sure that's what you truly feel.
We are talking about summer and student ministry today for all of our teenagers listening, which is probably not very many. But if you're a parent of a teenager, you're somebody, a grandparent even, we want to talk about what student ministry is doing this summer and reflect back, Scott, because you and me, we grew up in student ministry.
No.
Oh, well, I did. All right. Jordan was actually in my student ministry. I was Jordan's youth pastor for a very short time.
Are you
I'm
serious?
so sorry,
That's right.
Jordan.
No way.
We were talking about this. Jordan doesn't have a microphone to say this story, but last week we were saying that he seemed like when he was in high school and I was the youth pastor, it was a way bigger age gap, and I seemed like a quote-unquote adult, right?
Yeah.
But we're only like 6 years apart, Jordan, 5 years apart? Something like that.
Wow.
So it just
You're that far apart?
I think so. I'm 33. How old are you, Jordan?
27.
So
That's me and like
6 years.
Ryan almost.
Yeah.
The closest.
Wow.
That's weird.
So I was
didn't know
Jordan's youth
there was
pastor.
that big of an age gap.
Now we're coworkers.
Oh.
Look at that.
It's kind of weird. I was just talking to Hannah about this literally last night, but she was invited to like a senior graduation party. And I was like, that's so weird because it was only 2 years ago, but seniors already seem like
No,
babies, man.
2 years ago. You mean 1 year?
I was 2 years because I took a gap year. And I just finished my freshman year at Bibsy.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. So, yes, it is very weird. I was the guy that stayed home for college, and so, like, you're still around town, and I still helped in student ministry, and all these people are younger than you. I was like, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
This is weird. Scott,
Yes.
you haven't talked a lot today.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm just listening.
So we're looking back in student ministry land. You and me grew up in the same student ministry.
Yes, we did.
We had the same high school pastor,
Yes, we did.
Chip Mitchell,
Yes, we did.
and we went to a lot of camp. Ugh. Did you stick
Sorry.
your mouth on the mic?
I did.
All right.
Anyway,
What did that dynamic look like with the two of you in student ministry?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't remember Evan much in student ministry. And in fact, apparently I bullied Evan. And
We've talked this out. Are we going to do this on the air? Let's do this.
many times.
We have.
But yeah, I don't remember him much. I was a senior and he was 8th grade freshman. Really?
Yeah.
I feel like there was a bigger gap there. Anyway, apparently I bullied him or something. I don't know.
So for the factual part of the story,
Well, because once again, I don't remember.
there was a band,
I don't ever remember you being there.
which is more hurtful than the bullying itself.
Yeah,
I feel like in 2 minutes, my role has changed to Dr. Phil.
We shared a room
Yeah.
together for 5 days.
and I don't
on a
remember him
camp.
being
I
there.
did not even remember my existence.
I can
What
tell you the
were
camp
you
though is
doing?
Mount Lebanon. It was with Justin's band, Open Eyes. I was a roadie, and
So our
was-
pastor, Justin Hagler, was in a
Yeah.
band called Open Eyes.
Yeah,
It was
which-
towards the end of their career.
Yeah, I'd been with them since 8th grade. Is when I was.
That was 5 years
yeah.
for you.
So that was 5 years for me. I guess Evan came in. We did. I guess it was the last camp we ever did, which was out Mount Lebanon, Texas, which is outside of Dallas, I believe.
vacation hotspot.
Misleading.
Yeah, it was in a very dry, hot place.
Here's the pro tip for summer camp. Don't put it in horrible places.
I mean,
We'll talk
it
about
was
big
yeah,
stuff in a minute.
yeah. Which they had a pool. I don't even think I ever swam in the pool.
I don't remember swimming.
Yeah, but anyway, we were staying in the place that we were at was that we stayed in was like a Motel 6 on the grounds though.
Nice.
It was like they had a facility that you could stay there.
Yeah, no
for the
TVs,
staff.
no nothing.
And so I, as a freshman, had started volunteering in student ministry that year. I was running lights and learning to do some video editing with Chip Mitchell, who's the high school pastor. We went to camp that summer, so the end of my freshman year. And Scott ended up being my roommate. And Scott was a very unpleasant roommate.
I can't imagine. I'm always pleasant. So that would,
Absolutely.
that just blows my mind that I would be unpleasant.
And so Scott being a senior,
I don't think
me a
that I
freshman.
was unpleasant. I think that I was a typical senior and kind of goofy, and Evan always being serious and never having any fun, doesn't know what fun is, and so he was offended by my funness.
So
I
I'm going to
will
let
say-
everybody decide. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Blake.
To Scott's credit, and obviously I wasn't there. This was years before I would even be born. But
Yeah, this was
2001.
this was before he was born.
yeah,
2002.
so 2000. I was born in 2001.
Yeah, this was
Okay.
literally the
Wow.
year he was born.
Yeah. But there is nothing that tests you like sharing a room or a confined space with somebody for 5 days, especially in an emotional like thing like the ups and downs of camp. You can be
We were
very-
on the other side of the emotional ups and downs at camp, though, because we were just there as a band.
We were running
Granted,
the
yeah,
stuff.
we were running the stuff.
But even that taken into account, you don't really know somebody until you have to live with them and be in a space
Very
with
true.
them, because little tiny things they do will drive you.
Well, apparently,
wall.
I may or may not have broken the Michael Jackson rule. We won't go into exact details.
I think we do need to go into it now
and-
because
and
you're
what-
kind of downplay.
And
Yeah.
well, because once again, I don't remember.
So let me tell you what I remember, Blake, and you decide if you're going to let you be
I
the
don't
judge.
remember.
Okay.
As a freshman, I'd only been to camp one other time. I literally had never stayed at an overnight experience with anybody without my parents besides one time in seventh
Gets,
grade.
this guy.
I get Scott. And one of the initial things that my friend, Ryan Epps, that was closer to, thought it'd be funny, was Scott comes out of the shower, whips his towel off completely naked, and jumps in my bed wet.
Holy cow.
What? It was fun.
Horrifying.
So we'll
But
let the
that's
people
me
decide.
being a bully. It was
Well-
funny. Everyone laughed, I guess. But once again, I don't remember Ryan Epps being there.
Yeah, sexual assault's always kind of on the line.
That is
I would
not
say.
that is not sexual assault.
A giant wet man jumping naked into a freshman's bed is
I'm gonna get
definitely
sued
sexual
over this.
assault.
I will not
not
see you, Scott.
sexual
We have
assault.
moved on. You
It's
brought it
the,
up.
Once
I'm
again,
forgiven.
no,
What's the
no,
5-year
no.
rule?
We have not broken up. Broken up?
Broken
You
up?
know what? Never mind. I'm
Come
not
on,
going to go there
guys.
because I can't get my thoughts together.
So that's not what's going to happen at camp this year.
No.
That does not
I hope
happen
it does.
anymore.
I
No,
hope it
That's
does.
horrible.
No, we are not going to put that on camp.
That's right. So Blake, pull us out of this. So you grew up moving around. You're an Air Force kid. You went to different stuff, but you said that you've not been to camp with Simple Church yet. So me and Scott
I
are going to fill
haven't.
you in.
Yeah.
And talk about it. But talk about your experience growing up with church camp. When did you go? How old were you?
So camp has always been one of my favorite parts of every single year growing up. We used to have it at a campgrounds in Hawaii called Camp Pu'ukahea. And what that would mean,
Camp what?
Pu'ukahea, it's
Oh my
Hawaiian.
gosh.
This will be in, our camp will be in Ruston or Florida. So there's no, pronunciation really difficulties.
'Cause your dad was
Okaloosa.
in the Air Force. You ended up in Hawaii.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going to tell us about this camp or?
Well, I was going to get there. Yeah. But camp is great every single year. I don't think you really get the full experience of being in a youth ministry unless you go to camp, because there's no place like it in a youth ministry where you can let down your guard and really feel Jesus in the presence of your peers in such a cool place.
Wow, you
because
just went deep there.
yeah, well,
But I want to know more about Camp Pu'ukahea or whatever.
What does it mean? Hawaiian roller coaster ride?
Yeah.
Is that?
we're gonna say yeah
Okay.
because I'm not actually sure. Yeah.
How do you say it?
Pu'ukahea.
Pu'uhe.
Ukahea.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then we move
Hold on,
campsites to
hold on,
Lady of
wait.
Kau.
let me try one more time. Pu'ukahea.
Pu'ukahea.
Pu'ukahea. Sorry, I just want to get it right.
Ukahea.
All right, I can't say it. Anyway,
Pu'ukahea.
anyway, continue.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's
What did
always
you
been
do at that camp, though?
my-
What
well,
were your what was a day in the life of Blake Lawson at Camp Pu'ukahea?
And how old are you?
I am
6 years old.
20 at the time. We have gone.
No, I'm sorry. At camp.
no,
At camp.
since
Yeah,
I
camp.
was 14.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
was 14-year-old, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Blake Lawson, all homeschooled up, ready to go to Pu'ukahea camp. What is a day at the camp Pu'ukahea in Hawaii?
Well, the organized activities were always really fun. From the games, we always did dodgeball. We always went to the beach one day.
Oh God!
But my team,
Where would you? Of course, yeah, we're gonna go to the beach in Hawaii. That's the camp to go to. We need to sign our kids up for that. Sorry. Anyway,
We do have a beach camp, Scott. We'll talk
I know,
about
but
do.
not in Hawaii.
well, I will say, my team won every year for 6 years
it because of you.
because of me. I was a leader, not because of me, because of Jesus.
I was gonna
technically.
say, was the youth pastor's wife on the team? Is that why it always won?
No, actually, our youth pastor never got married. We're still hoping for him. Come on, Jesse, make it happen. But
That's
Scott has a little bitterness. He's bringing up a lot of things today that we're working out here, Dr. Phil.
no. I'm not bitter at all because I was always on Mallory's team
smart.
and we always won.
They accused Mallory of being the winner on most student ministry things.
there
which
was definitely
favorites-
some truth in
Which
that, though, right?
I'm not complaining at all because I got to go on a lot of cool trips and everything because every time Mallory would be like, "You want to be on my team?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
But there's no right way to do that because if you don't give her points, it's because she's your wife, and if you do give her points, then people are going to say, "Well, it's just because he's."
Well, and to give Mallory some credit, just like Evan, they are both extremely competitive.
Well, yeah.
and will do anything to win.
She rose to the occasion.
And so, and anything that may mean she cheated, but not that Evan cheated, but that she cheated to win.
Oh, definitely,
I have
and
no
the-
evidence of any cheating.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact because I helped in the cheating.
absolutely, yeah. Well, my team was notorious for getting in trouble every single year. It wasn't normally for cheating because that's not how I roll. I'm competitive, but if I'm cheating, I'm not really winning.
No, you gotta push the envelope, man.
That's it.
Well, if we fall too far behind, then yeah, we'll start. If we're second
Yeah.
to last place, then we'll start cheating
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
You gotta. I mean, there's a line. You gotta. I'm not talking about full blown cheat sheet. Like, but you gotta press the envelope.
Toe up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got in trouble for camp pranks, which is definitely gonna happen.
That
Oh, yeah.
reminds me.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, Blake, tell us about some pranks you've done over your years that this is not what kids would do at camp if they go with you this year.
Well, we did the obvious ones, like we
Always do
put
pranks.
the clear wrap over people's doors so that when they woke up in the morning, the leaders had a early team morning meeting at like 6 a.m. And so we would put clear wrap on their doors so when they walked out, it looked like they were walking through.
Do you not call it
spider
saran
That
wrap?
is awesome.
Well, it's shrink wrap, saran wrap,
Okay.
clear,
Never
all that.
heard somebody
I
call it
was
clear
with
wrap.
you. I call it clear.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so stupid.
Actually, I
like
think it's a brand name. Sorry.
staying up till like 3 in the morning and just like laying out this saran wrap and going.
You remember when my group stayed up till 3 a.m. We'll talk about that.
All right.
You remember that?
I'm not sure which time. I've had a couple
Oh,
pranks.
Big Stuff. Remember my leadership at Big Stuff? You were the intern. We'll talk about it in
All
a
right.
second. Anyway, continue.
I remember super vividly that night that we were laying out the saran wrap. There's this one kid. I mean, there's always sixth
You
graders.
don't have to call it saran wrap. If it's clear wrap to you, you let it be clear wrap.
Well, now I'm like self-conscious about.
I've just
my
never called it
cling-
clear wrap.
kitchen
Cling wrap?
utensils. Cling wrap, yeah.
Yeah.
So this clear papery substance, we were laying it out, and there's always like a couple sixth graders that have never been away from home. This is their first time, staying somewhere overnight without their parents. And I remember this one kid named Kanoy, and he kept talking to his parents in his sleep, like full conversations with his mom. And me and my buddy Nate and Johnny, we were laying out the cling wrap. We were like planning out, okay, we're gonna wait till 3. The golf cart's gonna be passed. Like they're gonna be, the security detail has stopped moving around, and we're gonna go out. We're gonna put on the doors and everything. And we hear, Mom, and we're like, what the heck was that? And he's talking. It's like, I don't want to be here. I'm scared. And we were like, stop. What is going on? And it's like in the pitch black, and it was funny for 2 seconds, and then it was terrifying. and then Johnny threw a shoe, and he woke him up. And Kanoy was like, what's going on? He was like, you just woke up. Just go back to bed. But
It's kind of like when you hear a child's voice at 3 a.m., except for you don't have any children in your house.
Dun, dun, dun.
does that happen a lot to you?
No, it's a meme.
You have thought that your
Yeah.
trailer is haunted before.
Oh, it is. It's 100% haunted.
There you go.
Absolutely. Anyway,
Well,
By,
Blake,
what was another
Justin,
prank?
My favorite that I always think about is, and we waited. This is, think of this what you will, but we waited till the last night of camp, and that's the camp that traditionally everybody's crying. There's a big,
It's Kumbaya night.
yeah. Well, it's a really cool night because
is.
everybody's feeling,
is.
the presence of the Lord, and that's really really cool. So that's when we strike. My team,
Like ninjas.
yeah, my team was at the back, and we all looked at each other at the end of the, crying night, and everybody was talking, and they're having their, little end of camp session. They're all like, thank you all for coming. Like, we hope you experience something. Take this with you as you go. And I looked to one side of my camp. I saw my boys. We nodded. I looked to the other side of the camp. I see my boys. We nod. We go into the plantation house where our rival team, we're in first place, obviously. They're in second place, but just to rub it in just a little bit more, because they were so confident all at camp that they were going to win, we took pictures of how they had laid their cabin set up. This is upstairs in the plantation house. We take pictures of the whole room, and then we move everything that is not nailed down, all their bags, all their box springs, all their mattresses, the bedside table, lamps, everything. We take it all, and we march it down to the bottom of the hill. The plantation house is like on the side of this hill. We marched it down all the way to the bottom, and we set it up exactly like it was laid out in the room. And so there's like the box springs and the mattress, and then there was a lamp next to it, and all their bags were everywhere. And then they come back to their rooms, and we're in there, and it is just completely empty. And they were like, dude, what the heck? And then we pointed down to the bottom of the hill, and we run extension cords, and all the lamps were on. It was in the middle of the night. They had to march everything back in. They were super upset with us, but...
See, I'm not laughing, Scott, because that exact same prank happened to me.
I think
really
on the last day of camp.
Oh, I was so proud.
Once again, I am for pranks. I have a couple that if kids are listening when they go to camp, if you want to try them out.
We might have to edit those out. But June 2010, I got married on May 29th.
Mm-hmm.
We went on our honeymoon. I came back from 1 week, and then we went to camp. We had been married 2 weeks.
Which camp?
This was Camp Fuego in Eunice.
Ugh.
We went down south and took some high school kids. I was the middle school and the high school pastor, so we did both. Middle school camp was in July, but we went back. So my brand new bride, we go to camp together. The last day of camp, we have a big camp staff meeting. We get into our room at 2 a.m., and everything is missing. There is not anything that wasn't nailed down in the room, and we didn't know where it was. They didn't even set it outside for us. They put it in somebody's car, and Mallory loses it and is very upset, and I have to go be angry and tell them to bring the stuff back and put it all back.
That is hilarious.
That is awesome.
It was not funny on this side of it.
That's pretty good.
There's a lot of little annoying things that you can do. Like I put Kool-Aid powder. I took off the head of a shower and put Kool-Aid powder in it.
Get all sticky.
And I screwed it back.
No. So the Kool-Aid powder, so what you do, really the best thing to do with Kool-Aid powder is not that, but it's actually to put it in the shampoo bottle, because what it does is it actually stains both your skin and your hair, and guess what, kids? Doesn't come out for a couple of days. A fun thing to do with a shower head, though, is to take a Jolly Rancher or 3, put it in the shower head, because what happens is it melts, but you don't know that it's melting because it's the hot water,
right?
And it's clear, and then you take a shower, and when you lay down in your sheets, guess what happens?
How sticky.
So guess what you do? You get up and you take another shower. Guess what? You're still sticky.
Good Lord.
So pro tip for anybody going to camp, check your shower heads and lock your door.
Yep.
So that's some camp pranks. Scott, I do remember the story now that you were referencing earlier. It took me a minute to remember what you're saying, but tell that story as you were a camp leader.
So I was actually the Simple Church camp leader for Big Stuff.
Wow.
I was the Simple Church youth minister for that week.
I think it was probably summer 2008.
Yeah, it was. Simple Church had just started, and First Bossier, who we were a part of kind of at that time, they were going to Big Stuff, so there were some students that wanted to go, and I was the only person available to go. So they're like, you're going with these kids. So we go, and Evan is intern. He's working at Big Stuff. Will Guyton is he's the youth minister at First Bossier. So first night we're there, I have freshman boys, and I have a senior. So this is how my week begins. I have a senior that is laying in my room crying. I literally pushed him out the door with my foot because his best friend was in my room and he wanted him to room with him. And I was like, no, that's not how this works. I was like, bye-bye. And I just kind of pushed him out. So
sympathetically.
Yeah.
Shh. Get out.
Shh. Just go away. But
we have a bunch of games and fun talks planned with your best friend.
But also, once again, it's freshman boys. This is their first time away, blah, blah, blah. And they are going nuts. And so I'm like, guys, you really need to go to bed. And they're like, no, we're not going to bed. I said, you know what? Stay up as late as you want to. So I let them stay up. They were up till 3, 4 a.m. just going crazy, laughing, everything. So I just stayed out on the balcony. I hung out. I talked with them. I went out and talked to Evan and to Will. And then I set my alarm for 6 a.m. I put it in my pillow, and I put it to the lowest volume that I could. And they went to sleep. We all went to sleep. So 6 a.m., my alarm gets up. I'm the only one that wakes up. So I turn my alarm off. I go outside, and I keep, I do little things so the door doesn't come all the way back. As I go outside, I take a big, deep breath. I kick open our door. I'm screaming at the top of the lungs. I flip over both mattresses. I get everybody up. They are dressed, and we are in line at breakfast by 6:15 a.m.
God,
They had been up since 3. Whew. So they're in line. They're quiet. We are the first ones for breakfast. I make them sit at my table. And as we're sitting there, I make them sit across from me. I say, hey, guys, you going to stay up late tonight? I never had a single problem out of them for the rest of the week. They were in their rooms asleep by 9 o'clock the rest of the week.
You know what? You got results. So hard to argue with that.
Once again, I wasn't mean about it, but I was like, if you're going to stay up, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah.
And I told them, and once
power
again,
struggle.
that night, I said, you can stay up as late as you want, but I want you to know there will be consequences to that.
Mm.
And they didn't believe me, and they learned.
So we've talked about traumatic things at camp. We've talked about things that don't go well, but we are going to camp this year, and there is a lot of good that comes from camp.
Yeah, to say that, they still had a wonderful time. And definitely
Absolutely.
one of the best camps that I have ever been to in my life is actually a camp where high school is going, which Jonah was supposed to be here to talk about that, but unfortunately he had a little bit of an issue this morning, so he couldn't be here.
They're going to Big Stuff in
Yes,
Florida,
they're
June
going to-
21st to the 25th.
And
So
big
it's
stuff
on the beach.
Yes, it is on the beach. They get the kids and adults. You get 3 hours of time on the beach to do. I mean, it's obviously a sectioned off beach, so you're not you're not there. The public isn't there, but you get to do a lot of fun stuff. You can pretty much have free time on the beach. It's wonderful,
Beautiful, awesome.
You have great speakers. You have an excellent band. There's if you're a leader, they have leadership classes. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the best summer camps out there.
I would completely agree with that. Blake, you haven't been, so you can't personally speak to it, but
I can't, but speaking for camp, in my opinion, if there's going to summer camp is one of the best things you can do as a young Christian. I promise you, it will make you look at your faith in a different way, and getting to experience that amongst your peers in such a vulnerable, receptive time, especially after COVID,
Wow, that was very deep.
that's good.
I mean, you had nothing going on last summer, so what better way to spend this summer than going to literally one of the most beautiful beaches in the world,
Which
Florida.
is Destin.
Destin is
Well, it's
gorgeous.
Pensacola,
Panama City.
Panama City. Yeah. Well, it's all right there.
Still the white quartz sand, beautiful beaches.
Mm.
We did a 2 years at Eglin, so I can personally vouch for the Florida beaches. They're very nice.
Very nice. So Big Stuff started, and there's got a cool tie to that. It was North Point Church in Atlanta.
Yes.
It's Andy Stanley's a guy that we use a lot of his resources. And
Heard of
Open
him.
Eyes was one of the bands for camp.
Not just one of the bands. We were the original band. So Big Stuff, it wasn't even called Big Stuff. I can't remember the name of it because I actually went.
Large things.
But they actually used to rent out half of the Sandestin Resort, and that was the camp.
Wow.
And it wasn't. So there's like Sandestin is split into 2 halves, and one half is the beach half, and then the other half is like a giant hotel on the other side.
Mhm.
We were in the bay side.
Okay.
So it's not as nice as you think, but still nice. But yeah, I can't remember the name of it. But Open Eyes was literally the original band. So I say we because it was me and Chip and all those guys. We would go and set up all of our equipment and spend a week down there for their camp
Mm-hmm.
with
Wow.
Andy Stanley and all of them. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So they made it a camp that's open to the public. It's a nonprofit. They have
Yep.
their own organization. And when I worked there in 2007, we saw 20,000 campers that summer.
Yeah, so when we were there, it was 1 week. Like with Open Eyes, it was 1 week, and it was just North Point.
Wow.
And we had 11 weeks, and we
Yeah.
had about 2,000 students a week.
If it was 1 week, how many people showed up to that one?
There were so many kids. There was probably, I mean, we were in so the hotel had a convention center. So it was like the convention center. And there was, I mean, I may be off because once again, like Justin, I can exaggerate, but I want to say 500 kids because we did
Oh.
it 2 years.
Yeah, we had 2,000 a week when I was.
Yeah. Like when it
Okay.
was just with us, it was 500 kids.
I was expecting like 50,000 kids
Yeah,
the
no.
1 week.
Yeah, but I mean that's
massive
from
locust.
that,
I was
but
like,
once
wow.
again, that's just one church.
Yeah,
Once they started doing it and inviting other churches, yeah. So imagine one church with 500 students.
kids.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It is crazy. So Big Stuff is phenomenal. It's for
nauseous.
completed 9th through 12th graders.
Yes.
So this year, if you finish 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, it's open for high school students. You can go to thehsm.tv, get all the info. And my thing that I've always told parents about camp was I went in 7th grade. I didn't want to go. I really was not enjoying church. I was real shy and awkward. My mom basically told me I was going to go whether I like it or not. And so I invited 2 friends. And that was the summer that I rededicated my life. I got baptized. I'd made the decision when I was younger, but it really was a pivotal moment in my life in 7th grade and changed the entire direction of my life.
Yeah.
And I just think about what a butthole I was to my mom. And I've
Yeah.
told her this over the years of I did not want to go. I was very resistant. But getting those 2 friends there was critical. It was huge.
Absolutely.
See, it is so funny because I had the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to go to camp. I went in elementary school, I think, because we had, first of all, I lived like a street down from Camp Bethany. So I didn't have very far to go, first of all.
I made it a little easy.
It made it a little easier. But like we did Camp Harrison, but I couldn't wait to go. I went in elementary school. I think 2nd grade was my first Christian
Yeah, I
camp
never did
experience.
kids camp.
Yeah. I did kids camp, middle school camp, high school camp.
I'm trying to think. My first camp experience must have been Summer Survivor at First Bossier when they were doing the Outlast thing. You remember this?
Yeah,
Outback.
I was a part of it.
Were you really?
We were
I
both
was
there.
I was a
3rd
character.
grade. We were here because my grandpa was sick.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
that
go.
is
I was a
crazy.
volunteer that every year.
Yeah, I was an actor on stage.
That is so weird helping you with SK Live doing your Gordo thing and then thinking that I saw you do a different version of probably something similar
Yeah, I was
But
the
you were
I was the
3rd
Swedish
grade.
chef.
15 years
Swedish
ago.
chef.
Swedish
Yeah.
chef.
Yeah, there you go.
That is wild.
So going back to camp, though, that's high school. If
Middle
you're a
school
high
as a
schooler.
camp, though. Tell us about
Middle school is
camp.
coming up even sooner than high school. High school is June 21st through 25th. That's Big Stuff at Florida. But middle school, we are going to Camp Generate. It's going to be at the Louisiana Tech campus, June 14th through 18th. It's just right around the corner.
Which is my birthday, by the way.
June 18th?
Oh,
Yeah,
happy
the
early
whole
birthday.
week I was born. That one.
It's a long process.
So, yeah.
So Blake, you've not been to Generate.
I haven't.
This will be our 4th time thinking. So I was the middle school pastor. Wow. We did go to Big Stuff and took middle school kids one time. And some people listen to me and be like, "Oh, the middle school kids don't go to the beach." Middle school kids don't necessarily like the beach like high school kids.
I will agree with you on that.
We have done it, and it seemed like there was less structure. But in middle school camp, you stay in the college dorms, so it's pretty cool that you get to have the college experience. You go and get a card, you do your food in the cafeteria. There's choices to eat. It's really you're like a Louisiana Tech student for a week as a middle schooler. So they really enjoy that part. There is rec. They do teams like you were saying, the competitions.
They have a great pool, by the
They
way.
do. It's a brand new, beautiful facility. Indoor rock climbing,
Massive pool.
bowling alleys free. You can do ping pong. You can do basketball court.
Here's my thing.
Come on.
When I heard that we were okay, so I heard I obviously haven't been the interim middle school pastor for all that long. And so when I accepted the job, camp was already locked down for this year.
Right.
And when I heard that high school was going to Florida
Panama
and
City
we were
Beach.
going to Ruston, I was like, man, I feel like we're getting a little gypped here. But then we interviewed, if you want to go onto the SCS chat room, Jonah and I do a podcast every single week where we interview special guests.
We'll put a link in the show notes so that people can find it.
High schoolers, middle schoolers, people that have something to bring to the table that we wanted to get on the podcast. It's really fun. Last week we talked to our moms for Mother's Day. That may have been a couple weeks ago now.
Yep.
But super cool. We'd never done it before on our podcast. We zoomed them in. But we talked probably a month or two ago now, to Nicholas and Eli Griffin. You'll know both of them.
I do.
But they were talking about camp and coming back to the convention center. And I even to that podcast, I went in thinking like, shoot, they're going to the beach. How can I convince them to come to Ruston with me? And Nick was almost like envious that we were going to Camp Generate. And I was like, what? Wait, hold up.
As a high schooler, you
Yeah.
want to go to the beach.
He was looking at Eli. He's like, dude, it's so awesome. There's like bowling, there's rock climbing, there's so much stuff you can do. If it's beautiful outside, but if it gets too hot, you can go inside and do all these amazing things. And we've got awesome speakers lined up. There's going to be a band. It's going to be crazy. Honestly, if you're even thinking a little bit about coming, please, please, please show up to camp. Right now, we've actually got
You
a
can
lot of.
drive there.
You can literally drive there. It's 40 minutes away. So even if you did get cold feet in the middle of the night, you want to see your mom, she can come up say hi to you.
And that is another perk for middle school students
Yeah.
that we've had families drive over and being a little closer to home. And sometimes it is a difficult thing to be away from home. They're not all Scots, more Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get through the first night, though,
Probably
I
a lot
promise
more
it'll be
Evans
locked
than
in.
Scots.
Absolutely. And I know with COVID, it's weird and there's people concerned probably and not sure. And there's people that are listening that aren't. But I know for a fact, Big Stuff and Generate have both sent the health things they're doing. They're going to be cleaning. They're going to
Right.
be trying to keep it safe and be able to figure that out.
I just hope they clean that hotel at Big Stuff.
I'm sure they will.
They will.
Joan asked me to be a leader. I said, I'll lead this year if I get to stay somewhere else.
We're talking up camp, Scott, not talking
Yes.
down
Hey,
camp.
once again, the high schoolers don't care, which I get. Because,
We're getting older.
Yeah, yeah. When the older you get, though, the more accommodations are kind of like you want it nice. Once again, kids, they can sleep on the floor.
Middle schoolers and high schoolers don't stay still long enough for it to matter.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's right.
the adults are kind of like,
Getting creaky.
yep.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
But-
hard to get up off a cot.
Yeah. I'm sure that won't be a problem, though. Leaders, please come with me.
Yeah. No.
Scott is doing the opposite of what
Yeah.
we wanted to do today.
No, I'm saying it's great, and if you've never experienced camp, especially as an adult, you should at least once.
Yes.
Even if you're, and especially if you're going with your child, like that's even an extra experience, and you should always experience camp. I think at any time, if you've never been, camp is an amazing experience, and it's unlike anything else. I'm just saying that it's harder as an adult to get off a cot, but I will say that it's worth it to go and experience it. And if you're going to go to a camp, I would definitely suggest either Generate or Big Stuff.
Well, now that I have the
Although I've
hindsight-
never been to Generate, I've only been. What was the camp that we always did at Ruston? Life?
Student life.
Student Life, yeah. Now that camp wasn't as fun as Generate, but that's only because back then, of course, this was a long time ago. Yeah, there weren't as many fun things. Like there wasn't the bowling alley and all that then, but it was still fun.
The new
Right.
student center
Yeah.
at Louisiana Tech's campus is.
Yeah, it is amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, thank you, Tornado.
Well, maybe Scott. Well, Scott, maybe you'll decide to join us this year.
No,
We'll see.
There you go. But if you don't want to be a Scott,
Yes.
you want to join us, we are always. looking
it's
for
my
leaders.
birthday week. I have other
Oh,
things
we gotta
planned.
celebrate.
It's not that I don't want to go. It's that I have other things planned. I'm sorry.
Well, you heard it here first. Now that Scott's not coming, I know a lot of people just decided they want to come. But speaking, I'm just kidding. But speaking as
think you
somebody who's formerly a student and now is on the other side of it and gets to see the effect that a camp has on kids, it is the coolest thing in the world. And honestly, I enjoy going more now than I even did then.
Yeah,
Because something
absolutely.
about getting to lead those kids and see God work in them, there's no more rewarding experience as a leader. And having them in your camp and getting to know them and driving the 40 minutes it takes to get there with them and them making you just want
Plus,
to
you get a charter bus.
yeah.
How fun is that?
And for sure,
Like for real.
looking around the 40-minute drive there'll be moments that you want to choke them out. For sure. You'll want to lean over the seat.
Not
just
for 40
strangle 'em.
minutes.
Well, there'll be moments.
Big stuff is a lot longer trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just talking about Ruston.
Yeah. But in those 40 moments, those kids that you once wanted to choke out, once you see God working in their life and start from day 1 to day 5 and see the change that makes, because you will see a change, I promise you, you won't be thinking about your cot. You'll be thinking, look at how God is able to work through my life and in this student.
No,
Scott's cut.
yeah, and then when your back hurts, then you're reminded of the cot. But
Yeah.
once again, totally worth it.
I
It
will
is
say,
worth it.
you will sleep for a day straight when you get back from camp.
It's a good tired.
Yeah, once again, yeah. I'm not. See, you're attacking me for no reason. I'm not saying
attacking
it's a
you.
bad thing.
I'm promoting camp.
That's right.
Yeah,
Let
it's
us know
a
in the
great
feedback
thing.
if you think we're
Yeah.
attacking Scott. Because
Yeah.
we don't.
I
wanna
think
attack
you are. I feel like I'm attacked all the
Aw.
time.
But on that note, I do just want to say that experience going and taking kids to camp for 10 plus years, being at camp, last summer we added up was the first time in 14 years I had not been at some kind of summer camp because camps were canceled because of COVID. So I am a big believer in
Wow.
camp. I've seen God move in camp. There's a lot of great stuff that happens at camp. Louis Giglio spoke at Big Stuff when I was a junior in high school, and that's when I felt called to surrender to ministry. God has done a lot of great things in my life through camp, and I've seen him work in students' lives in camp. So Scott accused me of being too serious, but it is a big deal. It is a huge spiritual milestone for families and for students that go to camp, and we'd love for your student or your grandkid or whoever, neighbor that you know, to be able to do that.
You won't have more fun anywhere else.
It is a
I can
great
guarantee
week.
you that. Either at either camp.
Absolutely. So if you want to sign up, it is not too late, but it's coming close fast. So we want you to go to themsm.tv or
the
thehsm.tv.
Yes.
We'll put links in the show notes.
The links are up everywhere. We've got a fundraiser going on right now that if you sign up before May 23rd, we will send a free large pizza to you and your house, and it'll be awesome. Hey, dude, pizza talks, man.
I love it.
Let's see the
I
dough.
love it.
Why?
I love it.
And I will say, for real, no joke, like, I've never felt the weight of the presence of God, for real, other than I have at camp, like that deeply. It is a cool experience. It's a ton of fun. And it, for real, it could change your walk as a Christian, as a young Christian.
It could change your life.
It really could.
And if you're a parent listening, they might not want to go initially. It is something that can be
You
difficult.
should go. If you're a parent, you should go once, especially if you've never been as an adult, because I've been both as a student, as an adult, and you should go as an adult if you've never been to camp, at least once. And especially if your kid is going, even though your kid probably doesn't want you to go, you should go anyway at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And then
plus, we can always use leaders.
Absolutely.
No, and then as a parent, we will give you a chance to be outside of your kid's small group. You do have the chance to go and do things separate and connect with some other kids. So it's not like you have to hover and be there.
No, you don't have to be the helicopter parent because there's other leaders to do that for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I still think you should go, even as an adult, because we always need leaders. We always need drivers, leaders, because, it's just fun.
Make some memories with your kids.
Make memories.
Yeah.
Making memories. I feel like that's a song, but I'm singing it wrong.
And being a leader at camp, especially this camp, there's not a lot of, heavy lifting. It's mainly about being present and being receptive to, them as they're going through the walk. No heavy lifting.
So
It's a
sometimes,
ride.
depending on camp, you might have in mind that as a parent, if you come, you've got to teach Bible lessons, you've got to do these different things, right? So they have small groups that are there. They lead those.
Even at big stuff, the leader meeting is optional.
Yeah.
You don't have to go. You end up going because they always bring in some kind of great speaker or something. Like me, every year I've ever been as a leader, I'm like, I'm not going to that thing, and I go every year, even though I'm like, because also all the other leaders end up going. You don't want to be the one guy that's like hanging out by yourself, so you end up going. So and then you learn so much.
Positive peer pressure.
And not just that, if you're worried about what do I say, what I do, they give you in that meeting at Big Stuff, because I can't speak to Generate because I've never been there, but at Big Stuff, they actually teach you like, hey, here's a book. If this comes up, this is what you say. So you don't have to sit there and go, oh gosh, what if this kid in my room is like, he's really struggling with something. I don't know what to say.
Mexican drug lord.
Yeah. Yeah. They give you the topic like, hey, maybe you shouldn't sell drugs. That's a bad thing.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good.
We've never dealt with a Mexican drug lord in my past, but I will say the closest we've come is we had a snack shop one year at camp. This is probably like the third year we did OG camp, we called it. And it's One Generation, not Original Gangsters, despite,
OG, got it.
But when you wore the shirt, nobody knew. So it can mean whatever you want. But we had a snack shop, and this one kid, a pastor's son, we realized what he was doing. He was buying up all of our snacks in the snack shop, and he was selling it to other kids for an upcharge. He was selling them for an increased
That's
rate.
just good economics.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I
so
was thinking, wow.
and I told people came to me because he was in my cabin, and they're like, "Dude, your kid," and he's a pastor's son. He was like, "Your kid is like, do you see him over there? He bought all of our Airhead strips things for $1, and now he's selling them to kids for $2." I was like, "Dude, I'm not even mad. That's amazing."
Industrious.
No, but when they got onto him and they cut him off, they stopped selling to him. He paid other students to go buy for him, and then they brought it back. He paid them, and then he would sell what they bought for the same rate he was charging other kids. And I was like, dude, this kid is
His name was
going
Bill
places.
Gates.
I know.
Oh. Yeah, the worst.
Rip.
Well, we had some stuff. One of the funnier things that one of my kids did is they have a DJ at Big Stuff that is kind of in the middle, like it's during free time, and he made one mistake. He had a Bluetooth speaker that he did not password. So my kid, our room was literally right out front. So a kid, one of the seniors in my room, every time the guy would put a song on, he would change it. The guy put it back, he'd change it back again.
Oh my God.
That was
That's a
at
pretty
least
harmless prank.
That was 30 minutes of entertainment watching this guy get so mad.
Someone
And literally, we were all just in our room because we were waiting to go to lunch, and we would just be in the room. And as soon as he changed it, he would change it again. And all four of us were just sitting there, we're just watching.
Annoyed.
Playing like Crowder Band. It's just, I'm a Bobby girl.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And once again, we didn't play anything like bad. It wasn't
Right.
cussing or anything like that. But literally, we would just change the song wrong just to make them mad.
Harmless prank.
Yeah, that was harmless.
That's right. That's a good kind. We'll wrap up, but the last thing is a couple times people over the years have asked about scholarship and students to camp. There is
You
a
can
financial
help.
cost to that. We had a middle school family, Blake and I was talking last week, that was looking for assistance, and they have had so
you
many
want to donate.
generous people. But
Give
seriously, if
today.
you are somebody that grew up going to camp or wanted to help, that you can get in touch with Blake at the simplechurch.tv.
absolutely.
And there are several, I know of several, how can I put this politely, older people that maybe don't have grandkids or maybe their grandkids are grown.
Right.
They actually love, sending kids to camp and sponsoring kids
We
to
have some
camp.
incredibly generous
Yeah,
people.
so
who've
if
done
you're one of those people that maybe your kids are grown up, but you remember they had a great time at camp, you could give and help somebody actually give the camp experience.
Absolutely. If camp has made the same impact on you that we're hoping to make on these kids this year, please, whether it be through leading, whether it just be through encouraging other students to come, please.
Or financially.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're a student that wants to come or you're a family that wants to come and you are worried about the money side of things, get in contact with us because there are ways around that. There are ways to help. If you want to be a leader this camp, there are ways to knock the price down a little bit because we do need help and we would appreciate your help.
That's right. Regular listener,
yeah.
Mark Perkins was a leader when I was at camp. Grew up with his students. So
He
thank you,
was.
Mark.
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Let's see it, Mark.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. But
Show me the money.
also, if you're worried about the COVID side of things, because it is a real issue.
It is a pandemic.
Yes, just so you know, they are taking it very, very seriously. We will also be taking it very, very seriously. They didn't even do camp last year because they realized they can't. They have taken
Every
precautions.
kid's going to be in a plastic bubble.
They will be.
kidding.
They actually did have Zorb balls the last time I was at
Yeah.
Generate, so they'll
Really?
use them for everybody. Yeah, like the thing you run around and bounce and you play on.
Yes, you will shatter your ankles, but you'll never have more fun in your life. For
That's
sure.
what camp's about.
It's really about it. Yeah,
But no, they are going to be safe, obviously.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you for being here.
It started a little
Blake.
dicey, guys, but we got there. I think it was a good
Nah, it was
podcast.
fun.
I think we landed.
Jonah, I'm sorry you weren't here as I look into your empty chair. I know that you had other things going on, so
We'll get him back on.
yeah, we'll
That's
get
right.
him back.
Yeah.
And listen
Speaking
to
like
the
this is-
SCS chat
yeah.
room every week. There's a student podcast designed for students, and then we have parent stuff for parents of
Yes.
students.
Mhm. Every single Monday. First of the month, we have a long podcast that's called our chat room, and then every other Monday for the rest of the month, we have a chat bite, which is a shorter, more digestible podcast for
I've
you.
listened
And
to
then
every one of them.
I believe you have somebody doing special Bible verses for you as well.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know
You
about
don't
that.
remember.
But there's also a
That's
middle school
fine.
and high school service
Are you
every
talking about
Sunday.
the Scott special.
Yes.
We haven't even talked. Okay, that
Yeah.
if you see a special with Scott coming up for the MSM, you'll know what we're talking
Stay
about.
tuned.
Yes.
More info is coming soon. But there is
I
a
thought
service
we were further along than that. I apologize.
That's all right.
every Sunday morning,
Awesome.
11 a.m. upstairs at the convention center. Check it out if you're a middle school or high school student. Send them upstairs.
Room 206.
For middle school.
206.
All right. Well, that's enough there. So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Bye. Do it again. Do the yell.
That's a good yell.
Yeah, that's a good.
There we go.
Thank you for listening. If you have a middle school or high school student, or you know somebody that does, we'd love for you to check out all the stuff Student
Sign
Ministry is doing this summer.
Them up.
And even beyond camp, even if you can't go to camp, they do fun events. They do regular stuff in the summer.
Yes,
it's great.
they do. We have all kind. Blake is doing something once a month. I don't know what Jonah's doing, but I'm sure he's doing something.
He's doing once a month pre-summer, but they're doing more stuff this summer.
Yes.
They're going a Six Flags trip. I know high school's going. So
Yes.
all that good stuff. Check out.
Senior mystery trip.
Oh, if you're a graduate.
Where are they going? Nobody knows.
I don't know, actually.
Really?
Uh-uh.
I don't know either.
There you go.
I have a guess.
Ooh, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that off air.
Mm.
But check it out at thehsm.tv, or you can go and follow them on Instagram, thehsmtv, and do the same thing for middle school. You replace the H with the M, and it's the MSM.tv.
That
or
confused
the
me.
MSM.tv. We'll put it in the show notes so you
Yeah,
can click on
there
it
you
and
go.
find
Make it
out.
a little easier.
That's right. And thank you for listening today. Thank you for subscribing. If you subscribe, you get the new episode every week when it comes out automatically. Do that wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube.
Do it today.
Happy summer, Scott. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Is it?
It is.
Wow. Time flies.
Have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.